Hey everyone, welcome to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. What's going on in this episode? Well, we're going to talk about Detroit Become Human. Developer Quantic Dream has been acquired by NetEase. So Quantic Dream, the developer behind games like Detroit Become Human or Heavy Rain, has been acquired by NetEase Game, one of the China's largest video game companies, whose catalog of games developed and published include Knives Out, Naraka Blade Point, which is that one that came to Game Pass recently, and I think it's been on PC and more games. This is NetEase's first studio in Europe. So they didn't disclose how much they bought them for, but they say NetEase says that they're going to continue to allow the studio to operate independently, focusing on creating and publishing games while supporting third-party developed titles too. So NetEase, if you're wondering, is a Chinese internet technology company providing online services centered around content, community, communications, and commerce. They were founded in 1997, and they develop and operate online PC and mobile games, advertising services, email services, and e-commerce platforms in China. One of the largest internet and video game companies in the world. They also have an on-demand music streaming service and several pig farms, if you know. But anyway, they've also done some ran some games in China for different developers, such as like Blizzard, their online ecosystem. I think Diablo Immortal is one of the ones that they're running in the China market, as well as things like World of Warcraft and StarCraft and stuff like that. Is ran by them over there. So it's kind of like them working, for bringing games to China. It seems like a lot of developers work with NetEase to kind of bring that into the China market. So the Chinese market. But yeah, so they've gotten Quantic Dream. We'll talk about Quantic Dream. They're making that Star Wars game, that weird looking Star Wars game that they were making. And I don't know, we'll talk about that. But anywho, what do you think, Pat, of NetEase getting Quantic Dream?
So, yeah, I mean, they've been on a buying spree, an expansion, if you will, for the last year plus. They've been buying up all kinds of stuff. And I believe I'd read somewhere that they had actually bought into the studio, a few years ago in 2019. And so they now decided they were going to go all in for the company and basically just purchase them, which they do. They have made some major purchases and other things, in the past. And yeah, as Nick said, they run a lot of the games over in China because China has very strict laws and control over games over there. NetEase knows how to navigate those legalities and stuff over there. Plus, they also control. They know how to navigate that stuff, and basically, they have timed access to the internet and things like that over there. So, they know how to navigate it. It's just the market. There was like a huge explosion of a bunch of development studios, over the years, and now they're being consolidated. There's just all these big giants buying up all these other studios now, and this is one of the more recent ones that it's happened to. It's the nature of the game right now, right? There's some very big dogs out there in the market, and NetEase is one of them, along with Tencent. Tencent is much larger than NetEase, but you can kind of see them in the same realm. They do the same thing. They buy into companies and invest in them or buy them out, and they also run you can just think of it as a multinational conglomerate corporation that has like multiple arms and here and there and everything out. That's Tencent is that. And they're one of the big dogs in the market. I believe they have a larger market share than even like Nintendo does. To tell you how big they are. It's nature of the beast right now, especially now that everybody's kind of talking about, the game industry in a recession, if you will. I don't really buy into that. It's not really into a game recession. We've kind of talked about that, so we're blue in the face that it's just a lull in games being developed due to pushes and things like that. Not a whole lot of games. There's not a plethora of games out there right now. So it's and I don't know what to think about the Star Wars game. These guys make a lot of story-driven interactive games, like Detroit Becoming More Human and Heavy Rain and stuff like that. But they don't really make a whole lot of other stuff like that, I mean, they're very much story-driven game, so I'm not really hyped about their Star Wars game. Now, will I play it? Of course I will. I love Star Wars. I'm going to play it. But my thought process behind it is it's going to be another Heavy Rain or Detroit Become Human Star Wars style now. It's the nature of what they make. So that's what I am anticipating. And if I'm wrong, then I will be surely surprised when it comes out. But like I said, it's Star Wars. It's got the Star Wars name on it. I almost always play something that has a name on it, even if I am going to be disappointed, just because I have to be disappointed for myself. It's one of those things where I don't listen to critics on stuff like that. I'm like, I just got to see it for myself. Let me put my hands on it and see if it really is bad or if it's good or, something like that. Because a lot of the critics were really down on the Fallen Order. But to me, that was a good game. I enjoyed that game. So, which I have a tendency to do. And we don't have enough Star Wars games out there, in my opinion. There's far and few in between. So I love the old Star Wars KOTORs and stuff like that. But I don't think Quantic Dream is making anything like that, what they are. So I'm not, that studio to me is good. It's a good studio. They've been around when they founded in the 90s or something like that. I can't remember. They were in late 90s or something like that. But they're a good studio. Are they like amazingly great? In my opinion, no, but they're good. I mean, did I play most of their games? Of course I did. Are they like on my top ranked games? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. Like Detroit Become Human and Heavy Rain are their most notable titles. They also did like Beyond Two Souls, which was just okay to me. Never played stuff like that. So I guess take it with you will. We don't know how much they purchased them for. It was an undisclosed amount and undisclosed information on what they purchased or what the deal looked like for them. It is what it is at this point. I didn't play Nomad Soul, which was one of their earlier games that came out on the Dreamcast. I don't know if Nick, you played that one or not. I know you're a big Dreamcast guy. And I also didn't play Fahrenheit. That wasn't one that I was that interested in when it came out, but I did play like Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, Detroit Become Human. But that's kind of really the extent of their games. So what about you, Nick? What do you think about this purchase? I really don't see a benefit or a downfall to it in any way, shape, or form. It is what it is. It's a small fish getting swallowed up by the big fish.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm with you. The only game that I've played by them is actually Heavy Rain. I've never played any of their other games. Not even Detroit. And the reason why is because I liked Heavy Rain. I'm not big into games like that are just more like just story driven decision making games. Like, I don't know. I like games with action and I like different types of games. I don't like games like they're just taught. It's like an interactive movie, basically, right? Is what I feel like they're more like, right? And Heavy Rain was that way too. But I enjoyed Heavy Rain, and I probably would enjoy Detroit Become Human and stuff like that. It's just games like that. It's really hard for me to get into starting to play those. And so I typically just avoid them. So Quantic Dreams doesn't make any games that really appeal to me. Not even, I'll probably play the Star Wars one because if it does come out, I'm sure it's something we'll probably review. But, and it might be good and it may not. I think Detroit Become Human was, even though it's one of their more popular known ones, I don't think it did as well as like some of their older titles as far as critics and users alike. But I think there are a lot of users that did like it, right? So it did fairly okay. I think Heavy Rain and possibly Beyond Two Souls and stuff like that probably did a little bit better for them. But it is what it is. And I it's kind of strange for NetEase to go out and buy something like Quantic Dream. Quantic Dream, I'm surprised Sony didn't buy them because they're most of their games since Heavy Rain have been on PlayStation and PlayStation, and PC, I should say. PlayStation only, right? PlayStation and PC. So, you had some of their earlier games like Fahrenheit or Indigo Prophecy. I think that one was on. What was that? That one was on everything. So that one was on Xbox as well back in the day. And then Nomad Soul, you had that one. That one was just Dreamcast and Windows, of course. But then from that point on, you had Heavy Rain, which was on PlayStation 3, I believe. And then from that point on, it was just a PlayStation type of game. So I was kind of surprised that PlayStation didn't come in and snatch them up, But like you said, NetEase did put their claws in them a couple of years back by buying into them a little bit, buying probably some stocks, getting stock percentages on them, and then just decided to swallow up. I would imagine they just probably bought, enough shares. I mean, shares of them that now they own them. And so, I mean, it is what it is. As long as they continue to allow them to develop independently, right, and not try to sway what they do, then that'll be great for Quantic Dream as a developer. But we'll see what happens. Again, the Quantic Dreams is not, for me, it's not like, oh my God, I can't believe they bought Quantic Dream. It's not a developer that super that I really care much about as far as their games. Like, I don't look forward to any games that they come out with. They look cool, and I know they do really well, and they're really good at what they make, right? Those kind of movie story type games, like that interactive movie games that they make, are really good, right? They do pretty well, and they're good at doing that. But yeah, you're exactly right. They don't really make anything other than that. So Star Wars Eclipse, if that comes out, because Star Wars is very flaky, so you never know. But if that does come out, it's going to be that same type of game, right? I imagine that's going to be more of a story kind of interactive movie type game where you're playing different people and stuff like that. So, which might work. It might work in the Star Wars universe. I mean, Star Wars is already a movie, so why not make it interactive, right? So yeah, it could work.
Yeah. I mean, it is just weird. Yeah, because I think Sony helped publish the last 3 of their games that they came out. I believe Detroit, Two Souls, and Heavy Rain were both published by Sony Interactive. So, that it's one of those things where it is a surprise that Sony didn't pick them up. It also might be a little bit of them trying to grab a studio, because I was trying to remember what studio that Sony picked up recently that Tencent had owned a portion of them not too long ago, and my mind it kind of skipped my mind not too long ago, but they had NetEase had purchased a good chunk of stock from this company and was a big percentage owner.
Was it Savage, the one they just got? Savage
Maybe
Game
it was,
Studios?
and then Sony just swooped in and picked them up.
They just bought it not too long ago, but they're just a mobile game, mobile developer,
right? And so now NetEase is since 2019, I think, been a heavy stockholder of Quantic Dreams, and now they swooped in and picked that one up. Which I really, the only surprise to me is that Sony didn't pick them up, because Sony has published the majority of their games, which they were, I was trying to remember, Detroit Become Human, and all 3 of those, right? Beyond Two Souls, Detroit Become Human, and Heavy Rain were only on PlayStation and PC. They were never on Xbox at all. So,
no, yeah, those were only on PlayStation and PC, of course.
Right. So, and I mean, I guess none of their games have ever been on an Xbox, the Nomad Souls was Microsoft Windows and Dreamcast, and then Fahrenheit came out on
Indigo
Xbox.
Prophecy, it was Indigo Prophecy here, I believe. I think it was Fahrenheit everywhere else, but it was Indigo Prophecy here in the US.
Right.
But it or maybe that was a sub name or something. I don't know. It goes by
I think that was
names.
the remaster or remake is what I thought, but I didn't play it, so I couldn't.
Maybe I don't know. It could have been, but yeah, that one was on Xbox, but that's the only one.
Right. Yeah. So. Yeah, so I mean, it's no skin off anybody's back. It is what it is. If they let them operate independently, we'll see what Eclipse looks like. But I am not holding out for anything more than a Beyond a Heavy Rain game, because the Heavy Rain was one of those games that when it came out, it was like, look what this console can do, and that was it was very graphic, high fidelity graphics, and it looked amazing game. But yeah, it was pretty much push triangle, push square, push circle, right bumper, left stick, whatever, when it told you to. So, that's the type of game it was. And those type of games, as Nick said, yeah, you have to be in the mood for them, because if I want a game that's going to entertain me and I'm not in the mood to watch a movie, then I'm not really in the mood for their games. Typically, I'm not in the mood for a choose your own adventure video game right now. I'm in the mood to play something with action that's going to keep me busy, or, being more interactive than just pushing a button every 5 to 15 minutes, depending on the story. But it's, it's adding more revenue streams for Quantic, or for NetEase, and it's basically helping them to diversify. They're basically spreading their fingers all throughout the world. What NetEase is, they're hoping to just basically be a worldwide corporation before long, and maybe one day they'll get to play in the big dog leagues with Tencent.
Yeah, it sounds like they're trying to go that route, with the Tencent route, trying to be up there with them. So I wouldn't be surprised if you don't hear in the next couple years, I would say, them buying someone in the US, some developer here in the US or something like that. Potentially. I don't know who. I don't know. Before Microsoft and Sony buys up every developer here in the US. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say about this, but they own them now. So NetEase owns Quantic Dream. So there you go. If they let them continue to operate independently, then hey, no, there's going to not, us as consumers, as gamers, aren't really going to see any difference in what they're bringing out. But hopefully they don't put their finger on our, in the quantum dip and start swirling.
And
around.
it was Bungie. That's what I couldn't remember. NetEase was invested like hundreds of millions of dollars into Bungie, and then Sony basically bought them.
Right.
So, but that's what I was trying to think. It was Bungie. It was a bigger studio. But yeah, I would agree. They're going to do what they're going to. They're all in like a buying frenzy right now. What these larger companies are.
Yep, for sure. So they got them. They got Quantic Dreams. We'll see what they buy next, right? I guess that's it. Do you have anything else you want to add to this? All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with new videos that we do all the time. And down in the comments below, let us know what you think. What do you think of NetEase buying Quantic Dream? And do you think they'll continue buying? And if so, who do you think they'll buy next? I don't know. I have no idea if they do continue to buy, who in the hell they would buy next. But this might be the last thing for them for a while. They got to start out slow. They're trying to get up there with Tencent, but we'll see what happens. But other than that, thanks for watching. See you next time.